I said, if you come back, you'll get to talk to your sister, you'll get to talk to your husband, and you won't have to do the rehabilitation project for us, and we'll treat you better, and made all these promises, and I wanted it to be true. But when I went back, I got stuck there for another 3 damn years. And my sister didn't talk to me, and my husband divorced me. And it was rough. 3 years, I was like in semi-isolation. I had to do manual labor every day, despite the fact that my back and my neck were in bad shape from past injuries. It drove me nuts. I was in so much pain. I mean, I lost my will to live at one point, and they finally stopped harassing me because they were afraid I was going to die on them. I'm like, oh, that would be bad public relations for the church for somebody to die on our premises, because it already happened down in Clearwater. Lisa McPherson died, so we don't want it to happen again. So they finally let me go. But at that point, I didn't want to go. I needed to be taken care of. I mean, I was like a basket case. And anyway, I don't really want to. Obviously, I'm still alive. I made it out. I'm living my life. But the reason I'm talking out really is that I'm not against any of the Scientology belief system that helps people. I'm not against the idea that the mental health system needs to be reformed. I'm not against any of these good things. I'm against the abuses, the treatment. I worked for the Sea Organization for 18 years. I got involved when I was 16 years old. And I worked hard for them. I worked sometimes over 20 hours a day, 7 days a week. For less than 30 cents an hour. And yet, when I couldn't do it anymore, I couldn't be a workhorse for them anymore, and I didn't want to be there, I was treated like I was a criminal. And that should be, well, what happened to me is illegal. And I think that I was in such, bad shape after it happened that I wasn't able to deal with it right away. But I am, now able to speak up about it and explain to people that Scientology has a dark side and it needs to be faced, and they shouldn't be allowed to get away with this kind of stuff just because they're a religion. I got 1 minute left. I'm trying to think of what else I want to say. A lot of people ask me, like, how'd you get involved? And I had a couple of people here explain the recruitment process. And one of the things that happened to me when I was really, really young, when I was 15 years old, actually, at a Scientology mission, I didn't have enough money to buy the Scientology courses, and they'd been marketed to me really well, and I was interested, and I wanted to study them. So the joining staff was like promoted to me as like a work-study kind of program, where you join staff and then you are able to get your courses just because you're on staff. So I did that. Of course, the first year that I worked at a mission, I didn't get, I just worked and worked. I was like a workhorse. I worked mimeograph, I did reception. I wasn't getting paid, and I didn't get any Scientology courses. So I was like wanting the Scientology courses because there were so many people saying how great it was. So then, when I was 16, a Sea Organization recruiter came to recruit me. He approached me without my mother around. He promised me a lot of things, help with my education, that I would get to finish high school and college, and I would get all these wonderful things. I'd get to learn Scientology. I'd get, room and board and medical and dental, and I'd get to visit my family every year for 3 weeks, and it would just be wonderful. So we went to my mother's house to get her permission. and she was drunk, and the recruiter got her to sign the permission slip anyway. My little brother was there. He was only 14. And she said, hey, you want to come too? And my little brother, sure. So we got stuck on a plane to Clearwater, Florida. And I'd say we arrived, and we were put to work right away doing laundry for the one of the higher organizations there. I was up till literally 2 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, doing laundry every day. Laundry and cleaning rooms for about a month. And at the end of it, I was like, oh my God, what am I doing here? I can't do this. I can't be staying up all night and not going to school and all this. And the person who's my senior said, well, actually, we were wrong. We made a mistake. You're not supposed to be doing this work, and we're going to have you do this other program where you do some staff training first, and you'll get enough sleep, and you'll be on a proper schedule. And, we just needed to follow L. Ron Hubbard's rules properly. We weren't doing it before, and so, we apologize. So you can stay, because, that's not going to happen again. So then I stayed, and even if I was to have left, I didn't have any money. My mom didn't have any money. What would I have done at Clearwater, Florida at that age? So I did the next step, which was some basic staff training, and I had to sign a no-charge invoice for $3,000. I was 16 years old, and I was signing this thing saying that if I left, I would owe them $3,000, and it just kept piling up like over the years. I mean, I think by the time I was 17 or 18, I would have owed them $20,000, $30,000 for just staff training. I didn't do any like Scientology training. It was just basic administrative stuff. Like, here's your 3-basket system, and here's how you write dispatches, and here's how you request, do purchase orders, things like that. Wow, there's so many things I could say. 18 years is a long time. I could tell you story after story, and a lot of it you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't believe it could actually happen here in the state of California or in Clearwater. The only other thing that I'd say I want to point out is that there is definitely a lack of respect for the human body and health, I found, just sort of predominantly in a lot of in the Sea organizations. And I found that out the hard way. I had an accident in 1993. I injured myself in a motorcycle crash, injured my neck and my shoulder. And I went back to work 2 days after almost breaking my neck in an accident. And I want to tell you what I did for a job. You see this guy here with a camera on his shoulder? That's what I did for them. So after my accident, where I tore a bunch of muscles in my shoulder and my arm and my neck, herniated 3 discs in my neck, I had to go back to work and carry a camera on my shoulder. And I was not allowed to take painkillers. And I had to do that for long, long hours. And man, that was tough. I get people saying, hey, oh, you were nuts, and in Scientology, I got in trouble for having a nervous breakdown, and I thought, you would too. You would too if you were working over 20 hours a day and you had to carry around a camera on a shoulder that you'd almost broken. It was tough. And, there's no, employer, there should be employer responsibility for the safety and care of the workers. And they're, like most companies, they have, some sort of oversight on how workers are treated, their safety and their health. And within the Scientology organizations, there was really hardly any of that. And that's another thing that I think really needs to be corrected. Just because something is a religious group doesn't mean that they can just throw the safety and health of their workers out the window without, taking proper measures to look after their health.